Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Talks, and today we have 4 ESFPs, and I will let them introduce themselves.
I'm Mariana. I am 33. I'm obviously an ESFP and an Enneagram 2, and currently living in Mississippi. If anybody lives in Mississippi and wants to hang out, let me know.
That's wonderful and very inviting of you. So, Ikraam, would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Ikraam. I'm 24 years old. I'm a psychology student and a barista, and I live in Edmonton. If anyone lives in Edmonton, message me.
Well, you guys are so nice. What nice ESFPs. Just so friendly. So,
Yeah.
John, would you like to intro for us?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, ESFP. John, I'm 31, and I am an Enneagram 8, so that's fun. If you want to hang out in St. Louis, yeah, don't call me. I actually don't have time.
The Enneagram 8 has a little more sass to them.
Wow, seriously.
And then, yeah, Sally, would you like to tell us a bit about you?
Yeah, I'm using a fake name. I'm Sally, aka Mbti Fanatic, and I'm an ESFP. I'm most likely 7-6, and I'm not going to disclose my location, but if you recognize me, please talk to me about MBTI. Please. I love seeing people do that with me.
This is definitely, we just determined you are a 7-6, not a 6-7. There is so much energy there. Like, it just explodes.
Yes,
Agreed.
like
So friendly.
supernova of energy.
I love MBTI so much. I say Typology in general. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, true. So my first question for you guys is, what do you love about MBTI? Like, what got you into this rabbit hole?
For me, it was just trying to understand my family, basically, because I'm like, why is everyone so different from me, and what's their problem? But this is when I was a teenager. But I really like it because it like most of us are similar, but there's just the subtleties make a big difference. So I like looking at the subtleties. Yeah.
Solid reason.
Awesome. Oh my god. So I like MBTI because I got into it. Like, I just completely, it became my absolute new obsession. I think it's because I thought MBTI in a place where I just needed, like, I was in a weird place in my life, and that just seeing that, oh my god, I have a type and everyone else has a type, something about that was just so reassuring. And then when you read about it, like, I read about myself and stuff, it's like, oh my lord, so like this makes me feel understood. Like, it makes me feel like less insignificant. It's like, oh my god, I actually have something here. And it's also, I love, and then when I go to like communities or the MBTI subreddit or like chat rooms or something, and then everyone gets their own type, or in the workplace you get your own type badge or something. Like, holy crap, that's actually like so cool. And it just changed my life. And you know what? Also, it is like it really hit me profoundly because it helped me realize that it's not wrong to be me, because I always had these preferences. But I grew up sort of around this environment that kind of said that a few of these preferences were like, I was raised that, oh, this preference is wrong. And MBTI taught me, no, the hell, it's not wrong. And that just made me feel so great.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
MBTI really serves like to help people understand diversity and inclusion. So there's like many ways to think at something. Like, it's kind of like, some people have an inner monologue, some don't. And like you're like, wow, just people can like have cognition that's so different than mine, and it's wild.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got into Myers-Briggs, I guess, like 2014. I took it through work, and it really helped me understand. My dad died when I was in high school, and there was just so much stuff that I didn't, I don't know, look into or like try to understand. And so when, kind of like what Sally said, when I saw my type and like read through, it's like, that really big profile you get. And it's like, I was reading through it. I'm like, oh my God, like, it is reassuring for sure. And it helped me have a lot more like love for love with myself and like understanding, and to understand how all these years later, like over 10 years after my dad had died, how there was a lot of unprocessed grief. And so it got me back into therapy. And then it helped me also, once I had a way better understanding of myself, probably after a year or two, I really just kind of focused on that. I was able to kind of apply it to work settings. I think it made me a better manager of people. And then also just to family and try to understand the subtleties. And I'm the only extrovert in my family of 5. So that explains a lot when I was younger. But I love introverts. And I think that is some of the reason why they're very, very grounding for me. So,
Yeah.
I love that.
That's
Yeah. And yeah. I love how it's like a yin and yang, like the introversion and extroversion. It's like very grounding for your extroversion.
yes.
Yeah, it's good to have like a balance there, sort of see both, have both there.
For sure.
So there was this girl, and as most stories start, but she was like a unicorn to me. Like ESFPs are very, like, we're charming. That we just are, right? And we can kind of attract what we want to attract. It's just kind of one of our traits. But she was an INTJ and an Enneagram 5, and I could not. I
couldn't break that.
Wow.
And so it just became this like unicorn. Like I was just so interested with why we don't have chemistry, except we did. It was just a different kind of chemistry. And so she kind of introduced me to MBTI, and then we got to learn about each other quite a bit. And that's when everything started to actually click. Like I could understand where she was coming from, why I was so quick to action, but she was so like long-winded and well thought out. Like things would just take forever to think for her, and I was like, no, we just need to go. It's time to go. Let's just do this. Like it's time to move forward with this and that. And like, I don't know, after I got into MBTI, I understood myself first, which is the first step, and then I started to understand her and then other people, and then like everything had just kind of clicked. But at first I was not interested. Like I did not want to learn about it. I was just like, just let me be me. Like I'm just here, I'm unique, you can't put me in a box. And then she was like, no, ESFP. And I was like, oh, here's my box. Like, this is crazy.
I love this box.
But, it expanded from there, for sure. Like, I got into the Enneagram. I got into spiral dynamics and looked into pretty much anything else I could look into as far as personality typing. But that's where it all started. What a male answer.
It was a very male answer. Yeah, they say that like with sensors, like when they figure out like that practical application of the theory, that's when like they start to get interested. But it's not until that clicks, like that practical aspect, that they like care a lot about it.
Exactly.
So yeah,
that makes sense.
True. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Do you guys find yourselves fitting into that performer like stereotype at all?
Not really. I mean,
yeah, not really, not totally either. Yeah.
Only around my friends. If I'm around my friends, then I go like, you know, that's the only time I even come close to that stereotype. But all the time, not really. I'm more like, you know, just like everyone else. I'm not that stereotype.
I kind of relate.
I feel like. Go ahead. No.
Sorry. I said I kind of relate to the stereotype like of the performer when I'm with like when it's like a party setting, when it's like, because I do feel like I tend to like amp up the energy if the energy is already amped up. Like I'm more of a, like if there's something there, I'll amp it up and I'll make it more fun. But I also match the energy like wherever I am. So I don't know. I don't seek like the spotlight or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I love what you said about match the energy. I've never thought about that. That I relate to that a lot. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And I don't like the spotlight either.
Yeah.
For me,
sometimes.
If a party is like absolutely just lame, I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna freaking try. I'm just on my phone the entire time. But if it's like a really fun thing, if it's a fun thing, I'll just I'll just want to get involved, and then whatever happens. I don't intentionally think I'm gonna raise or lower anything. I'm just, you know, oh my god, this suit's cool, or oh my god, this looks like crap. It's just, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That is so fascinating. Yeah. As feelers, it's important to like match the vibe of the room to make sure the emotional energy is okay. And so that's cool. So if the performer doesn't fit fully, oh yeah, John.
Maybe he's in the force field.
Sorry.
Oh my god!
Stop motion animation.
I feel like generally when breaking up here.
Yeah.
Oh,
The faces
Like-
it freezes on are great. I'm like, don't look that out.
I'm so sad right now.
I think you're back.
You're back.
Am I back?
Yeah,
Hi.
it looks better now.
Test. Can you hear me? Like, am I
Yeah, we can hear
actually
you.
back?
We can hear you.
Okay, good. All right. So I think that like we are generally the type that is supposed to be like everybody fakes it till they make it, you know, but like we're supposed to be really good at faking it. Like we always look like we know what we're doing when even though we may not necessarily know what we're doing. And I could be really wrong with like that
Yeah.
that general idea.
Yeah.
Everybody's so quiet.
Oh, I thought you were cutting out again. No, I think a lot of that is like, I think we pick up on body language really easily. Knowing how to like pick up on like a vibe or an energy and like how to like appropriately respond to that in the moment is like a magic of an ESFP. Like just, that's why and I think that's a lot of it's like why we don't have to plan. We don't think we have to plan stuff out. It's like, I'll just figure it out. And I think we do figure it out.
Yeah.
When it comes. There's times when I can't figure it out. In that moment, I should have like prepared more for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think had like just me, I didn't share in the intro, but I'm a CPA. And the only reason I chose that major is because when the economy crashed in 2008, I knew I'd have a job if I went the CPA route. And I was recently sharing with somebody, as an ESFP, just knowing that my P is off the charts, even just as a P, I never even looked into what the road was to become a CPA. I just took a class. Then I took another class. And then had I looked at like the trajectory, I would be like, screw that. It's going to take too long. It's going to be too hard.
Yeah.
And it's like when it actually paid off for me to not research it,
Mhm.
because like I just kept finding myself in a class. I'm like, man, this is really challenging. Like not even thinking, well, the next class is going to be even harder. And then being like, wait, now there's an exam. I have to take a CPA exam. Like, I mean, I guess I knew that. I just didn't think about it. I was just in college and I was in grad school, just having fun.
Yeah.
My immediate goal was always to pass the next test. It was never to pass an exam, 4 years on down the road. So I don't know, that might be kind of off topic, but I just feel like ESFPs are just living in the moment. So hard for sometimes. And it can be good a lot of times. Other times it's not good.
Yeah, I
That
feel
makes
exam-
What does everybody do? What do we all do collectively? Like what's your career path?
I'm a psychology major and I'm a barista. So
Oh, you said that.
yeah. I hope to be a psychologist, but yeah, I definitely I think being an ESFP made it hard for me to pick my major and figure out exactly what I wanted to do.
I still don't know what I want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think now I'm coming to realize that I feel like I need so much experiences for me to make decisions. So it's almost as if I'm not in the field, if I don't see people who are working there, and if I don't actually know how the politics and the day-to-day look like, then I don't want to put my eggs in that basket at all. And I have friends who I think who are NI types who have known what they wanted to do since they were 6 whatever. And I remember worrying about what I wanted to do when I was 6, and my solution was to pretend to do that occupation for 2 weeks. So I remember being I want to be a ballerina, so I'm gonna practice being a ballerina for 1 month and see if I like it. If I don't like it, then I'm gonna go to the next thing. And I would always do stuff like that. And I think that carried out into my old age, where it's I had such a hard time picking a major. But yeah, now that I'm realizing that I just kind of I can excel wherever I go, because I think that extrovert sensing helps me a lot, where I feel like I can learn things pretty quickly. Same thing, especially with that TE. So that fear goes away, because I remember being so fearful when I was younger about oh my God, will I be able to handle this job or whatever? So yeah, I think the leap of faith is needed for some ESFPs, and that would be my advice for any of them listening right now. Sometimes you can't figure out every single day to day. You got to just take the leap.
The analysis paralysis, I feel like, is what I can never take in enough information.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I could take in it, and it makes me not make decisions.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
for
I
that, like,
definitely
there's
feel
more
that.
to learn about this topic. I can't really make an informed decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you said made me think of that.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like I think when I was young, I thought I knew what I wanted to do, but then I was like, oh my god, this looks so cool. But then I started asking, I started telling people about it, and then they're telling me more information about the job, and I started hearing things that like, oh my god, hell no. So then I move on to another one, and then the same thing happens,
Yeah.
and then I'll do it again, and now it gets to the point where it'll keep happening, and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But it's
I heard advice that's really good. It's like, everything's gonna suck, but you have to figure out what suck you can handle.
yeah, break the suck.
I love
That's
that.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that people in my life always tell. Oh my god, every job's gonna have something you don't want to do in it. I'm like, okay, I know that, but it's like, which one can I handle? Like, which suck do I want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes
Joyce?
like I would imagine like for an ESFP, one of the things that could suck about a job is repetition. So if a job is too much repetition without new things coming, it can kind of wither at your soul.
It does. It literally feels like death. It's just waking up, and then going to the same day, and then the same night, and then going to sleep and doing that again. I feel like ass. I can do that for maybe like a week, or maybe 2 weeks at most. But then after that, it's just that's not life.
Feel the same way.
No, that is life.
Yeah. You got to figure out how to mix it
Joyce,
up.
what do you do?
Routine.
I like to facilitate the MBTI. I'm an HR person, so that's what I do.
Oh, sorry.
I do HR stuff. Oh, it's totally okay. Welcome back.
Thanks.
And so that brings us to the new question to celebrate Mary coming back. So what are ESFP strengths? Like, what do you find you are good at that other people, it may not come as easily to them?
Action.
Yeah. Being able to take action, yeah, and being able to handle stress in the moment. I don't think I've ever frozen before. Like I don't think I've ever frozen in fear or like embarrassment, whatever. I just, for better or worse, I power through it. Yeah.
There we go.
I think something that I've learned more about myself. I don't know if I think this might be the FI piece of it is managing people. And Joyce, I know I haven't watched it yet on our YouTube channel, but the one about the strengths finder, my top are like it's developer, positivity, empathy, maximizer, and woo, I think. But I just over the years and being responsible for people and coaching and mentoring them, I feel like it, and I don't know if that's some of the FI like empathy side of things. I feel like it can look like FE. And I would love to get y'all's opinion on, I sometimes wonder if SE plus FI can look like FE. And some people might think they're an ESFJ, or you might think that person's an ESFJ and they're really not. But I just feel like empathizing with people, being able to sit with somebody in their discomfort, and then also just to motivate and inspire people and bring out positivity. And then the upward feedback I started getting from my subordinates was, it was just like, she listens, like she takes time to listen to me. She takes time to teach, just things like that where I'm like, shouldn't every manager be doing that? But where it's like that sticks out. And I think that is like the really human side of FI. And also just that, you know, people would say you make work fun. I'm like, man, if I can make accounting fun, like I can do anything, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's that also. And then there's I think we are so good at reading body language and picking up on like energy of like what the room's kind of like, to know how to respond appropriately in the moment.
Yes, I completely agree, Mary, that like FI, especially with type 2 Enneagram, they get mistaken for FE very often. Like with, I notice ESFPs and ENFPs, they have FI and an OE function, so NE or SE.
Yeah.
So taking in new information indiscriminately, it kind of feels open and flexible. And like people can feel really cared about when they have that, like with an FI. So what happens is you seem very open and like friendly and like truly listening and absorbing, because like the OE, like the SE and the NE, causes curiosity. And this curiosity in people makes people feel loved. And so that can be mistaken as FE because people can see that and they get moved by it.
Yeah. And no, that's so interesting. And I think maybe a way you could distinguish it if people are confused is I think an ESFP is going to be taking more time one-on-one and not trying to charm an entire room necessarily, and more so interested in those one-on-one conversations. At least to me, and that is on my official instrument test. I scored out of like, I can't remember what it's like. I scored outside of like on the E side for gregarious versus intimate. And when I read that, I didn't know anything about the test when I took it. So I didn't even really know it. I mean, I believe my type. I had no preconceived notions going into it. I just had to answer it for this work thing we had to do. It was like a deadline. Like crap, I did it like right before the deadline. I just answered really fast. And the intimate one, I love a one-on-one conversation or like small settings, even like this. And I think maybe that could be like a true sign if like people were confused. I think ESFPs are going to spend more time one-on-one, making someone feel important or special. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's why I score into the sexual version of the Enneagram, like sexual 8, because of that one-on-one intimacy.
Yeah, it gives me energy.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? Groups might be fun, like huge groups, but they just don't work. I don't get anything out of it. Like I like groups that are like this, that I get something out of it. If it's like a giant group, it's like, oh, what the hell am I doing? Like nothing, no idea works. And another thing is interesting that I found he said that's very interesting. That he said that like it's like we're good at picking up body language and reacting in the moment and stuff. I think I have a different sort of way of manifesting that, because I actually got told by a lot of people in my life who were very knowledgeable about who I am, like very know me, said I'm really not that good at that, because they said not for the reason, like they said because I just get so caught up in the excitement that I don't even look at that. I'm like, I want to talk, I want to do this stuff, and I don't look at that. So I just totally disregard social cues and then just do whatever. And then sometimes it backfires, sometimes it's cool, sometimes it blossoms into something even better than if I just looked at it. But it's like it's very, 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 very hit or miss. But it's definitely that's one thing I never really related to with the whole like ESFP thing. Is the body language is not my thing. It's like the flip version, but for that reason, because I just want to get in the excitement, you know.
I wonder if the Enneagram like colors that a bit, because if you're in like an Enneagram 2, you'd be very like in tuned with people, and then also paired with that SE. So it's like you're in tune with your environment and you're in tune with people. But if you're like SE paired with like Enneagram 7, you're in tune with your own excitement and like having fun and like bringing up energy. So that's how the SE would. I think that's how it would probably manifest, right? Yeah,
that makes sense.
That.
That explains so much. Holy crap, that explains so much.
I'm like, wow, like you're like a wizard over there. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, like that's so true. Yeah, something I find like to be a strength of ESFPs is multitasking. Like when they're socializing, sometimes they can also do something else. Like my ESFP friend will cook while talking to us, but she'll do like these multiple tasks, and I'm like, wow. And also like there's a type of riskiness with some ESFPs. So there are certain like TikToks where you can like do certain activities, and then with my ESFP friend, we would have tried one where we had to like go down, like do this, and like we had to lean, and then we'd have to fall, and then trust that the way that we did this would be safe. And the thing is, like, I guess like ESFPs, because like they have like quick reflexes, they trust themselves because they have quick reflexes. So like you can push certain boundaries with like trying certain things because you know that your quick reflexes will save you.
Yeah.
So I am a Olympic Taekwondo coach. I coach Taekwondo at the higher level to try to produce athletes that make the Olympic team.
Wow.
And then my side gig is bodyguard. Like I literally work through the county and take care of any VIPs that come into town and make sure they get to their shows, do their shows, take them to their hotel rooms and back to the airport. And so I do escorts, like executive protection escorts. But I rely heavily on that reaction time and on just quick decisiveness. Like, okay, well, we're going to take this highway now because that one looks like it's crap. Like just immediate turns, immediate moves, immediate changes. So I relate to all of that, right? But I feel like
Yeah,
I've gotten to. I'm sorry.
Well, especially with your job, will make you exercise that a lot more. So that's
Well,
pretty
and that's
neat.
what I'm saying. I feel like I have gotten to go into a career path that lets me capitalize on all of that. So my superpowers, our superpowers collectively, I guess, get to be amplified and used, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I didn't even know like have you ever like what's the most memorable? I was asking because I just never heard of anybody like actually be a bodyguard before. Have you ever like had any big celebrities?
Yeah, I've had several. I mean, I've got a couple that still currently reach out to me once in a while. Let's see, big names. Steve Aoki. Have you guys heard of Steve Aoki,
yeah.
the DJ?
Oh my god, yeah, listen to his music. That's cool.
Yeah, so like Pauly D, who there's
Oh my
that.
god.
Pauly D.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
You guys remember that dance move?
Yeah.
I'm not pulling up Pauly D.
Is that like he's so great? I love their reunion they had a couple like 2 years ago too. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've worked for a lot of major DJs and singers and stuff like that. I've never done like, I don't know, actors or anybody. So
Cool.
But yeah, anyway, going back, it's just cool that I get to capitalize on what our strengths are. So like reading body language is part of my career, like it's part of my job, and so like I just get to use it and capitalize on it.
That's awesome.
That's so great. Yeah. So, what areas is it harder to capitalize on your strengths?
Project management. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh. Being around so many TJs and not accounting for master project managers, it blows my mind seeing that as their first, but especially ETJs. And then that's when I knew, I knew I didn't want to do accounting for forever, but when I got to a manager role, I was like, I'm so much better at managing people than projects. And I see ETJs doing it they're doing a million other things and also managing projects seamlessly. And it's so impressive to watch.
Yeah.
Watching that and being more aware of cognitive functions, it really helped me see. I was like, I'm not cut out for this. And I didn't think I was anyway, but I actually had like some hard evidence at that point. I was like, okay, this makes I don't need to keep, my TE was an overdrive all the time. It's exhausting. And it wasn't good. It was, crap TE. So that to me, project management is, because it's long term in nature too, and I can't stand that.
Oh my god! Another like situation where you just can't like do anything. It feels like this is one of my least favorite things to do is sit around and like argue with people, like family members or just random strangers. Like I'm sitting down, I'm eating my food. I'm like, I want to eat this amazing food. Oh, we're talking about philosophy now. Oh, nice! Now I can sit here and do mental gymnastics where I start to feel absolutely horrendous. It's like, I want to eat my food now. You're just sitting there. You're sitting there, and you can't do anything about it. Like you're being involved with these insane ass issues that you can't do anything about. It's so irritating.
Yeah.
No. See, I'm an 8, so like that's home. That's where it's at.
Arguing.
Arguing like comfort, like that kind of arguing is more fun. The 8 kind of arguing, because at least you're gonna go get somewhere. I'm talking
I agree. Yeah, I find that I have limitations when people just talk about theory and then there's no action afterwards. Like,
yes. Oh my
that
God.
crap is annoying.
That is so killing. I'm just like, okay, let's do something.
Yes.
All right, we talked about this. Now we're talking about more theory. Like, what is the next action? Like, let's do something. Let's go. Like,
it's literally so disappointing.
You
like
know
you talk hours and then you do nothing after. Like, what was that for? I feel like wasting my time.
Yeah.
So I don't like talking about philosophy and stuff, but like I like what you said, Joyce, earlier, where you said that we enjoy, like, sensors enjoy things when it's connected to reality. So it's like, talk philosophy with me, but then talk about how you're living your philosophy, right? Because it's just like, what are you constantly talking about? Like I don't want to be rude to the intuitives, but that is something that I feel when I talk to who don't like do the things that they constantly talk about or the values that they talk about. I'm like, you're not living your truth.
Yeah.
You're not
Dude.
putting into action in any of the things that you're you talk so passionately about. So I guess it feels soul crushing is what I'm trying to say. It feels
Or
a
do
little
you?
crushing.
Another thing is whenever they talk about an idea, like let's like they go extrapolate this idea, like this cool idea, and I'm thinking over here, we're gonna go do that, right? No.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah.
Oh.
So
ENT
I tend to see a lot of
love that
people. I tend to see a lot of people with Myers-Briggs or with the Enneagram who use it as a source of affirmation. Like they'll just be like, "Oh, that's just because I'm an INTJ." Like, no,
That's
that's
not
how this works.
You have to
Now you've
grow.
learned about it. How do we change it? How do we
Oh my
grow?
gosh,
Where do we
yes.
integrate at? Like that's
one of my favorite rants.
so many people will just fall into it.
That's so true. Yeah. Like the
Oh,
MBTI. Yeah, for sure. And so like the MBTI is good for knowing where you start first. So like sensors like to start in reality and then branch off into theory, whereas like intuitives like theory and sometimes never branch out into doing. So the thing is like what it helps you learn is that like your innate predispositions. So then if you can then try to do the other side, because sometimes we don't know that the other side exists. So sometimes like some thinkers, they don't know that feelers exist, and then they make decisions solely off of factors and reasons when there's also that feeling and value component. So like it's supposed to like give you a growth, something to grow off of, not to pat yourself on the back too much.
Yeah, no, I will admit, I almost fell into that, and then I realized this actually is the wrong way to use it. And now I'm like, you know what? I just love every type now. I love intuitives. I love thinkers. I love every single side. They bring so much to the world. It's like you see one side of the world that's your type, and then the other type see like other sides of the world, and they're all amazing. Like at the end of the day, everyone has a different.
Diversity is necessary for growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all are
in
trying
all
to
aspects.
balance, right? Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
You can get so much more accomplished by leveraging diversity instead of ignoring diversity. Awesome.
Yeah.
So my next question for you guys is like, what are your biggest pet peeves? I know, Mary, you mentioned like misophonia or something like that.
Oh yeah, misophonia. Have any of y'all ESFPs? Have y'all heard of that?
I have that where it's the loud chewing bothers me and stuff. Yeah.
Do you
For
have?
me, it's never like.
I don't actually think I have it, but I relate to it. Like I feel like I have misophonia only when I'm at the movie theater.
Oh yeah, popcorn.
Stop eating the popcorn.
Yes.
I think I don't have it like super. There's definitely degrees of it, and mine's definitely manageable. But it's crazy. What is the DNA test 23andMe? They actually can test for misophonia now, like genetic markers, and so which I was like, what? Like that makes it, because I think a lot of people have dismissed the idea of misophonia, like just get over it. Where you're like, no, literally, there are certain noises that make me want to just throw something, and when I can't get away from it, like foot tapping, like on a hardwood floor, like, and if you're gonna be sitting next to someone at work all day, you don't know when the foot tap's gonna come next. It really stresses me out for some reason. And I wondered, though, about misophonia, if y'all as SE DOMs relate to just instantly hearing a noise and like kind of looking where it's coming from, or like my body's like always on, or like my nerve endings are always like on, just like ready to go. And even if it's not an annoying noise, it's like I do this, I get like jerky. And I'm not a deep sleeper, I think, because a lot of that, my body's just always like, I'm not a deep sleeper. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but like I'm just always on alert.
Yeah, my ESFP mom is very response ready. I once had a group presentation with an ESFP, and like there was someone walking outside the hallway, and she like stopped, and immediately like her train of thought like halted because like she paid attention to the noise outside, and she's like, something's happening, and then like she can't help it, like she can't tune out of sensory stuff, so she takes it all in. And it can be annoying when there's noise that gets in the way of what you're doing at the moment because you're so aware of it.
Oh my god, that's really interesting. It's like, it depends for me, because I can literally just be absolutely 100% oblivious to everything if I'm deep focused on my computer. Like if I'm in an internet argument, I'm on the internet argument. I'm not talking. Someone can call my name out over here. But then if I'm like on an interview or something and I'm looking out for like, oh my god, are they gonna come in? Like, am I really gonna come in? And like a cat's playing, I'm basically like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm always ready to take my computer, run to the freaking bathroom, and hide. But it's like very depends. And that you talk about, I don't know what that condition is called. I don't think I really have that condition because I'm only going like to that degree with one noise, and that noise is when someone's clipping their fingernails or their toenails, and while I'm watching a movie, I'm like, freaking do something.
Yeah.
It's like, but it so depends. It's either yes or no. Like for me, it's like I'm either oblivious or I'm either like that. It's so weird.
Yeah, I think no, that makes sense because I think I relate to what you said. That makes a lot of sense. If I'm really ingrained in something and I'm really interested in it, I can tune out a ton of stuff. I think that's probably why I couldn't tune it out at work because to me, accounting's not that interesting. And so you're already doing this mundane type of work, and the thing is, and I'm trying to focus on it.
Yeah.
And my brain's like, no, listen to that noise over there. Hear that foot tapping? That's more interesting right now. So no, I know what you mean. When I'm like really into something, I can't hear. Like not like I love studying, but in college I got locked in the library. Didn't go there often, but I was like up on this floor and I couldn't hear like they're like over the intercom, like, hey, the library's about to close up. I was so in my own world of like trying to study for this test, and I was locked away in this like kind of like cubby room. And I had to call the police like to unlock me from the library. So I know like I couldn't even hear over the intercom, and I didn't have headphones in.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so I know exactly. That's a really good point. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I definitely zero in as well. Like, if it's a movie that I've wanted to see, it is the worst date idea ever because I will not pay attention to you at all. Like, I am in the movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Oh, another pet peeve of mine is slow internet or anything that any slight inconvenience with technology. Like, oh my god, if my microphone shuts off, the computer's flying across the room. If the internet slows down for 2 seconds, every single cuss word in the English dictionary. I can't stand that at all.
Yeah, Dave's Superpowers calls that an observer freakout. So like when stuff goes haywire, and it's also a very ESFP thing to like dislike slow things. Like ESFPs move faster than the normal person, so if something's going very slow, it's like annoying.
Yes.
I had to train myself to talk slower, and like if this was a normal conversation and like we were 2 hours deep, I'd be like, and I naturally just talk so fast that I start stuttering and I just can't I won't notice. And I don't know. And I walk fast as well. And and I definitely have the high reflex too. Like for a long time, my siblings used to troll. I'm the oldest of like a lot of kids, so all my siblings used to troll me by like just pretending that they were like coughing, not even choking, just a little bit of a cough, and then I would like slam everything down. I'm like, because I thought they were choking. Because my brother had one time when I was a kid, he choked in front of me, and I didn't know what to do, and I was scared.
Dramatic, yeah. And
then so I ever since then they started doing that, and then actually one day my sister actually did choke.
Oh my god!
And then I was like, you're trolling me, and then she wasn't. I went for a little bit. She started turning a little bit like a different color.
Oh!
And all the adults were in the living room, and I screamed, "She's choking!" And then before they could even like get up and do anything, I like went on top of the table, got her, did the Heimlich, and I've never done it in my life. I was never trained to do. I just saw it on TV, and then I got it out. So I did the high reflexes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible, like for real.
Yeah, but it also screws me up. I don't know if you guys like relate to this, but I do everything too fast. Like when I was learning how to drive, my biggest issue was I go way too fast, and I just and I actually drop things and stuff because I'm just going a little bit too fast, and I'm more. I think because I'm comfortable with the sensory, it's like I'm more able I feel okay making a mess because I know I can just clean it up really quick as well. So at work as a barista, I'm like one of the fastest baristas there, right? But I'm also super messy and like chaotic and like spilling stuff and but then like 5 seconds I'll clean it up, and then it looks like I'm struggling. I'm just kind of in a zen state, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Do you guys find that you're super in tune with your bodies?
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, now I'm like super self-conscious about it.
What do you mean by super in tune? Like, how would you define that?
like I can pretty much pinpoint a pain or any kind of like I feel literally everything, and I can tell exactly what it's from, where it's at, where it's gonna go, like how it's gonna heal. But like I've met people that are like, I think my shin hurts, and then I'll pull their, while coaching or whatever, I'll pull their shin pad off and notice that like there's a hematoma, like it's a massive bruise. And I'm like, you didn't realize that this happened? Like when it happened? Because as soon as something happens to me, I feel it, like I know it.
Yeah.
I think I might actually be the opposite then, actually, because I used to get hurt all the time when I was a kid. Like with the going too fasting, I remember nobody taught me how to ride a bike, and I just took somebody's bike, and I started going down deep hills on it and stuff, and I kept on skinning my knees, and I knew that I had skinned my knees, but I would just keep on doing it. And I think I have a low pain tolerance, so I think I am in tune with my body. Like I know when I'm hungry, and I know when I'm thirsty, and I know stuff like that, but I don't think I feel pain as much as other people. But that could be like genetics or something, I'm sure.
I feel like being so in tune though gives you the power to negate it. So you can say like, oh wow, I'm really hungry, but I'll get to eat in 2 hours, so turn it off. Like it's gone.
Yeah. I'm also, that makes sense, because I'm also pretty good at intermittent fasting and stuff, and like I can trust the idea that your hunger response is going to go down after it goes up. So yeah, stuff like that I find pretty easy. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so as ESFPs, I'm curious, when you're talking about like just being like in tune with your body, and then you're talking about like when you're hungry, it made me think of SI for some reason. And I'm just curious, and I'll answer this question: what cognitive functions do you relate to the least, or not even relate to, that you just can't even understand? It just doesn't. SI is one of them, but TI is my number one.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by it. It's so amazing to me. I'm like, I don't get it, but it is a superpower. But I cannot relate to it whatsoever. I'm curious what y'all does.
Oh yeah, TI for me,
I can't
even understand the cognitive. Like I'm trying to read about the cognitive functions. TI is the one I don't even pay attention to, and I like scroll past it because I don't even care about it, and then I also don't understand it. But then also like at the same like it's just that's just the one function that I don't even care about reading about it, because I know I'm just going to get a bunch of like it's internal frameworks and stuff, and a whole bunch of that kind of talk, and it's like, and I read the entire paragraph sometimes, and I'm like, I didn't get anything out of this. What?
Yeah, I think
it's the exact opposite.
It said mine was non-existent. My TI was non-existent on the key.
I envy it. I envy it so much that I tried to duplicate it or like replicate it. And that's one of my like fake it till you make it things. Like I will almost get into that space temporarily and try to figure it out. It's struggle. Like it's a struggle bus for sure, but I love it.
Me too. I'm also very impressed by it. Yeah.
What do you guys consider to be TI?
TI is like
clean slicing data, maybe?
I see TI as like just knowing when things are inaccurate, and then kind of like pinpointing the part that's inaccurate, and then through like, oh my gosh, I hope I'm not butchering this, but like through challenging the inaccuracy, they're able to make their own conclusion, and then they basically stack those conclusions on top of each other. I don't know if that's right. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's right. So like how I see TI is like you have a radar inside of you. Like with FI, it's a shady dar. So you know when someone's authentic intentions or their values are shady AF. But with TI is a radar with inaccuracy. So it's like, this is slightly inaccurate, this is somewhat inaccurate, this is maybe true, but it's like an extreme criticalness against the accuracy of what someone says. Because with TI, you kind of store with your NI or SI all the amalgamations of truths that you've had throughout your entire lifetime. And so at that moment when someone is telling you something, you're comparing it to all of the truth values, truth reasons that you know inside you. And so you can instantly tell when something doesn't seem accurate. But with FI, it's like a shady intentions. You can tell when someone is absolutely shady.
They're both very subjective and similar in some ways, just very similar in that they're so subjective as an internal decision making. But I mean, there's a great, I don't know if y'all follow The Personality Hacker. They have a great podcast, but they have a really great episode on FI versus TI. because the female host, she's ENTP and her husband's an ENFP. And so
Joel and Antonia.
Yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, I don't know if they have a great book. I don't know if y'all forgot it. I would recommend their book. But yeah, just listen to that. I was like, whoa, these are both they're so subjective that they're kind of similar in thought process. And like, I just, like, as F5, it's F5 for y'all. And maybe, I know this, like, you know, you grow it over time and all that, but just maybe where you're at right now, do you feel like you always know how, or do you think that you always know how you feel about something? If someone asks me something and it's kind of I always know where I stand, or I always, not like I have an opinion, I want to insert it and like be mean or like create just, it's not that. It's just more, I always kind of know where my values are. And like, I can apply that and project it or extrapolate it across a lot of different like mediums. I don't know if that.
I used to. Like, inherently, that is my position. But since I have been trying to get into introverted thinking so much more and like get into the head space, I will like, I'll have my gut and this is my reaction. This is how I feel. But then I'm like, but why? Stop. Like, how can I process this? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to pick up perspectives more, because perspectives is one of my blind spots as well. So then I have to like reanalyze from every direction. But I used to.
Okay. So, okay. I feel like it kind of sounds like when I went back to therapy a couple years ago, we did a cognitive behavioral approach. And that felt like a very TI approach. And it was so incredibly helpful for me. And it was challenging thoughts or challenging feelings or like emotions or like internal. That made me think of that. That's awesome that you like are aware enough in the moment to question yourself.
Well, I think that, so as I've stated before, I'm an 8. And so we are very quick to anger. In fact, we're like good at it. Like anger is we're just lustful of anger. And so I have always been so quick to react with anger and like so fast to push people away or get into like arguments or fights or whatever. And then like recently I've had to stop and like step back and be like, where is this anger coming? Is it insecurity? Is it loneliness? Like, what is the actual root of this anger? Because anger is just a Band-Aid emotion.
Yeah.
And so in analyzing that, I've also developed the pattern of analyzing all of my thoughts as well. Like, are these thoughts real, or is this just my gut intuition telling me to go, which doesn't exist? So like, I've had to get into that space.
That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's really interesting. You know, like for me, it's like I have certain things that it's almost like an alliance with things. Like if I know when I'm for or against something, or if I don't have a strong opinion on it, then I would just be like, okay, you go the way. So like if you say something like, oh, scam call, I can instantly tell you I fucking hate that crap. Or if you say something like, oh, gaming computers, I'm like, oh, I love that stuff. So it's like good or bad sort of thing. But I'm glad that you introduced that perspective of actually going and analyzing, oh, is this true or am I wrong or something? Because you also want to have that truth in there. Like that's also a good perspective to have. I'm glad that you shared that.
Yeah.
Well, and I never used to have it. It definitely developed because like I used to stick to my guns. Even if like somebody presented me information that proved me wrong, I'd be like, no, your information's bullshit. Like I'm going, like this is where it is. Like,
yep.
And now I'm like, oh, you're right.
Yeah. FI knows where it stands. That's a really good way of putting it. Like it knows what it loves and it knows what it doesn't love.
I was gonna say something about the FI bit. I don't if you want me to.
Oh, for sure.
For in OP, like I'm actually one of the ESFPs who kind of skips their FI and goes and favors their TE. So actually I have to really, it's almost as if I have to sift through the spectrum of reasons before I figure out exactly what I feel about something. So, and I think maybe that makes me feel a little bit more connected to TI because it's also a thinking function. But yeah, it's just, I think it's, I know that it's like it's the ESFP's like growth path to get into thinking, but I also think because I'm more disconnected from it, I like can appreciate FI more because it's I don't know, it feels like my third function or whatever. So it's like, it's definitely a strength to be able to know where your values like lie as well. So I just wanted to say that to you guys. It's harder for me.
Maybe one last thing I wanted to share, Joyce, before we move to the next question was, and I think this was on the FITI podcast from Personality Hacker. They described FI as almost being able to sit in someone else's shoes and simulate what an experience, how that might feel. And to almost like, you can actually, like, to understand how it's like, I love how Antonio always talks about systems thinking. It's not cause and effect, it's systems at play, which is, you know, that like a lot of people don't. I mean, when she said that, I'm like, that sounds like such common sense. I've never thought about that. It's so true. But how I can understand by looking at a system how a person could have made the choices and decisions. I'm not saying I agree with what they did, and that is how they kind of describe the fact. But you can still sit in their shoes and understand how they got there and how that might feel, and still not even agree with them, but like maybe empathize a little, like, or just seem like I can, you know what, if I'd been faced that, I probably would have done the same thing, instead of just disregarding that person as a human being. And I think that's kind of the empathy of FI.
When I bring in my 8 to that, though, I'm like, I can see how you got there, and I understand you're wrong, but I can see how you got there.
I guess it's so subjective. I would never say anybody's wrong, and I don't know if that's like from going like through. I mean, going through a parent dying over 2 years, being around that, and like just sitting in that hurt for so long, and the way it manifested later on in life, that I'm like, man, I ain't anybody to judge, you know, like just to not even say, I can never even tell anybody they're wrong. Cause I'm like, I don't know. I haven't been through it yet. I don't, and that could be like the 2 Enneagram. I don't know. I don't know if you'll have any thoughts on that. I think they said, explain it as if I can simulate an experience, even if they haven't been through it.
Yeah, I totally agree. That FI has like a talent for putting itself, like looking inside itself to find like a similar experience and then simulate that and to understand what you're going through that.
Yeah, it's almost like a relating type like factor or something, trying to relate. Yeah.
It's like, FI is really like self-referential, so it'll try to relate what you do back to its like the inner contents of itself.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm also a profiler trainer for Personality Hacker in one of their classmates. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love their. I've been following it probably for like 5 years. Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a few panels up already, and like, you know, objective personality. We talked a bit about it, and like something that Dave and Shan say about OE, so NE and SE, is that they're chapter changing. And so they change subjects a lot. And like with OI, like NI and SI, they flesh out an entire chapter before moving on to the next chapter. You'll notice like with this ESFP panel, like the rate at which we're changing topics like is also a sign that someone uses NE or SE. That's a cool tidbit. And
it's cool. And then just think about EPs in general, how like the freedom is like what is it? I know they have an acronym for it, but like I'm like that. I was like, I'm definitely an EP. Never doubted it, but reading that, like just the fear of like not having your freedom.
That is the number one freaking thing for me. I can't be I don't like to be controlled at all. I will eat food off the floor and travel to the other side of the world with tinfoil wrapped around my neck to block trackers before I lose my freedom.
Like, I want to buy a house because I'm like, I feel that there's like this internal like fear of like I'm gonna get trapped into it. Like I'm like, that's okay. Like just things like that. Like
Is that why it's like so hard for you to decide on a life path? Because it's kind of like control in a sense. It's like if you pick a path, you have to stick to it. So then you rather just react in the moment or like take things as they come instead of restricting your freedom. But like it's interesting, like objective personality and personality hacker have like overlapping model in this sense, where like for EPs in objective personality, they seek variety, I believe. It's like chaos or like Ikraam. Do you remember like the acronym they use for objective personality?
Control and chaos. So the IJs go for control, and then the EPs go for chaos, and find happiness in chaos.
Cool. Yeah. And so for personality hacker, they have like the firm model. And so EPs, they are fixated on freedom. And so, you know, right now, Sally said, don't control me, bro. You know, that's a fixation on not being, you know, reeled in and it's a freedom loving spirit.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
literally
awesome.
like when I got a personality, I always hated being like be told what to do, and now with this, it's just amplified because I know it's like, and then when it's even someone trying to do that to me, and that's why I can't be in relationships, and that's why like absolutely like when we were talking about marrying that person who was I guess earlier, but like I just don't freaking want that garbage in my life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can make relationships hard.
Mm-hmm.
That is so true. So I'm wondering for you guys, like, how do you guys deal with your freedom being taken away?
So first of all, I fight back really hard. I'll either I'll freaking cuss at them if I have to. But if they have the power to do something bad to me, then I make contingency plan over contingency plan over contingency plan. Like, okay, I'm gonna use the computer over there to get back on my internet, or to try to take my internet, or I'll try to go other places. I'll get away from them. I'll try to get away from all that and just go places where I can. If I just like. If the last resort is just tell him, hey, can we just make a deal or something? Just give me all my shit back.
Yeah. I think that firm model actually helped me kind of challenge my my initial response of like, you know, if I'm newly dating somebody, as we were sharing before the panel started, you know, I'd said that like getting into a relationship, I'm 33. You just develop just so much independence over time, regardless, but especially when you're single, and there's a lot of freedom in that you don't even realize is freedom because it's just your norm. And so when someone comes in, and like this past last year when I was dating somebody, I had to ask myself, and the firm model helped me actually, like, I didn't even know this was a thing. And then I'm like, so when I was starting having those feelings, I knew about the firm model, and I was like, I think I'm just reacting right now because there's nothing that is really at stake. Nothing is being threatened, but this is just my internal initial response, like an ego response almost, that I'm scared of my freedoms. And I had to ask myself, Mariana, is that really true though? No one's trying to take your freedom away, but it is, it's still my initial gut. It's just, it's crazy. And I've kind of had to, I'm so glad I know about the firm model. It's really helped me like kind of like challenge my initial reaction to things. So
that's a good way to look at it and stuff. Because when I hear like my friend or someone telling me that they can't do something because like their spouse or their significant other said it, I get a sickening feeling in my stomach. It's a sickening feeling, and I just want to hit them out of there so they can do
like
it.
A jail sentence, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or sounds like one. You're like, what? You can't do this because so and so said you couldn't. You know? And maybe,
it just makes you want to freaking like no. What's up? Your freedom back, dude.
Yeah.
It makes me actually sick. It actually makes It makes me literally sick about that stuff. So it's like, wow, that's a really like to have typology sort of address that. That's like unreal.
Yeah. And what is it for IPs? Is that invulnerability?
For IPs in OP, it would be self. In personality hacker, it would be righteousness.
Oh,
so
righteousness.
which is kind of like the same thing to me. Like the self is feeling righteous over its own opinion because it's the ultimate authority to what it's okay with.
Yeah.
So it's like basically the same thing said in different ways. And you guys were talking about SI and about how like being in tune with your body is typically known as an SI thing. And so I know that in the community they say it like that, but I actually would disagree. I would say that SE also can also have like a fine-tuned sense of where things are in your body. Like with my brother, he would help me fix my back. So I have back issues and I need it like pushed in by a chiropractor. But my brother acts as he's an ESTP. He acts as my makeshift chiropractor. And he's very good at knowing where each ligament in my backbone is. It's like the sensory acuity. Like I call SE a sensory acuity to just where everything is in my body. And so like SE users can know their own body really well, and they can know other people's body really well too. But like it's not just an SI thing.
I'm also like, I'm the resident chiropractor in my house. It's like my one party trick is I'll crack everyone's back. But I think it's because SI is like my sister. I'm pretty sure my sister has SI first. And I think SI, it's like more of a sensitivity. So they're like very sensitive to things going, and then they want to rectify it too. So they get comfort. And for me, it's like, I know what's going on in my body, and it's like, I can ignore it. which is it's fine. I'm aware what's happening, but it's like I can continue to push like further past whatever pain I have, or I can even try to like I don't know how intuitives would like, or people who don't have SE or SI first would find these meditations, but you know those meditations where they tell you to like picture a part of your body and then
body scans.
Exactly.
Love them.
And they ask you to like if you have pain there to make it dissipate. I'm really good at that actually, and now I can do that too. So it's like if I have pain in my body somewhere, I can kind of think about it and like loosen it up, and I know a lot of different ways to do it. But then I also like I said earlier, like I have a good pain tolerance. Like I don't like taking medicine or anything like that, and so I'm just I don't know, I'm okay with pain. Yeah. So I think that's the difference.
I don't feel like you even relate to SI. To me, TI is the one I really can, but SI is probably second, where I'm like, I don't really get that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. I think maybe like SI with its body awareness, it wants to like return to a homeostasis. So the thing is that it wants to know how its body is feeling so it can get to an equilibrium of what it's feeling, like this perfect equilibrium. Mm-hmm. Yeah, whereas SE will notice it, but it's not trying to like organize its sensory experience into this perfect thing like SI is. Like SE is just so keenly aware of it sometimes. It just is.
You know, for me, it's like if I start feeling extremely like I start really hurting, of course I want that pain to go away. It's like, oh my God, get this out. And then if I have to fart for 5 seconds straight, get it out.
That's true. That's so true. But I feel like with SI, it's like this more intentional type of monitoring your sensory experience.
Yeah, my sister has a problem with hypochondria. Like she'll feel like a little tingle here, and she's like, I have a tingle in my chest. Like, I think I might have. Like, I think you're fine. You're probably fine. Whereas with SE, it's like I could actually be on the opposite end, where it's just like kind of a disrespect to the sensory a bit, where it's like I should probably go to a doctor, but like the last thing I want to do is like be waiting in a doctor's office. So I'll just like I'll be at home. It's fine. Or I'm one thing that really pisses my family off is that I'll be sick and I'll still go out and I'll still do what I want to do, just because I have a huge confidence in what my body can handle, which is something I think is probably the opposite of SI. I mean, maybe it's not the opposite. It's like I think it's just that I feel like I can push my body further.
Because we use our bodies as a tool in some ways. Maybe sometimes it's like it's a tool. It's gonna be I don't have to have like reach this homeostasis to go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I think to an extent I relate to that, because I like if my friends are going out and doing something, I don't care if I'm sick. I want to go unless I have COVID. I just want to go freaking go with them. I'm not missing that. No matter if I feel like absolutely disgusting the entire time, I don't want to miss it.
The FOMO is real for you.
The FOMO is so real.
The FOMO is what drives me most of the time. Like, just if I like every time my friends go out, I'm like, can I please come with y'all? I'm annoying like that, but I don't like not being there with like just because you know it's everything. It's like when you're out there, there's like things that could happen, and you can't ever really, it's not the same unless you're actually there, so I don't want to like miss that. You can't just tell me with it in the story. It's not the same.
Yeah. Like you might meet somebody super cool that night. You never know, like the missed opportunities if you don't go. And normally there's nothing crazy would have happened, but you're like, but what if? So I can't tell on this one night because this could be the night.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Yeah. The FOMO is such a good point. So yeah, John, what's up?
Oh, just hold on to the message.
Oh yeah.
John, I'm so glad you joined.
I'm sorry about your service. That's so bad. That's so terrible. I'm sorry I have to go through that.
But can we just point out, even John gets out, so everybody can know watching this, that he is the ultimate ESFP. He's driving to Iowa right now. Still doing this video chat, you know? It's pretty good.
Headed out to coach somebody.
Ooh, nice. So impressive.
Thanks.
Yeah. I guess we're heading to the end of our chat. I'm wondering, do you guys have any final thoughts?
I just say that, my God, time flies so fast. I could talk with y'all all day and all night if I could.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm sure like something will come to mind and I'm like, oh, we're already off. But, yeah.
I feel like I have so many questions and I'm gonna regret not asking it later, but I can't think of any right now.
Yeah.
Same.
This is a point. Okay.
I'm sure this is not the last time.
Yeah.
No, I would love to do this again. I think I heard on Personality Hacker, I can't, it was one of their episodes. I think it was them that said, and I was just curious really quick, if y'all relate to this ESFPs, that like if y'all could, well, I'm not totally unpacked yet, but my desk is a mess. Everything, wherever I worked, I ended up winning a joke award after my first busy season, a Pigpen award. Not that I'm dirty, I'm just messy. And so my desk always has shit everywhere. And so I know where everything is. It all has its spot, and I can find it immediately. But I think it was Personality Hacker said it's like you need internal organization. Like FI is very organized, in my opinion. Or I'm sure TI is the same. So you can have outer world freedom. And so outer world freedom to me is not having some super rigid, you always have to like have it. And I'm sure as a barista, I think that kind of relates to that of like, I kind of like thrive in that chaos. And I know where everything is. So if I know where it is, that's all that really matters. But I did become more aware of this might stress people out that are working around me. And
that's so true. Yeah.
Four drinks on my desk. I always have like four. I mean, it's just, and I'm not even thinking about it. And when you don't think about it, like you're like, well, when you kind of start thinking about it, you're like, is this like impacting someone around me? I didn't even, it's like an ENTJ. I know it's stressing my bosses out. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize how much room I was taking up with all my stuff.
Yeah, I relate to that. If I go unmonitored, my stuff looks like an absolute like clusterfuck. And then like my mom or someone will come in and be like, oh, I look so freaking freaked out. Like, stuff like this. It's like, I know where everything is fine. And it looks like ass to everyone else.
No, I totally relate with the idea of like stressing other people out, but you're okay. And I think I just kind of realized that because I've been like that in all my other jobs too. It's just not even like the messiness, but like the amount of energy you put into things and how fast you're going and how fast I talk and like I think I actually make other people anxious because I think I was wondering this the other day. Yeah, I was wondering this the other day because I was like, why do so many people ask me if I'm okay? Like, are you anxious? I'm like, I know, I'm totally fine. I'm fine. But I think they're projecting on me because I'm making them anxious.
Yeah, you're like, I'm thriving. I'm
dealing with 1,000 things and going, oh.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, like literally, like my friends would be like, you're slurring your words because you're talking too fast. I'm like, well, I don't think I'm slurring, but then I listen to myself and like,
my mom always says I talk too fast, and I know I get so excited though.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it out. I don't want to have a long drawn. It's like just say it. Let's get it done. Let's keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I will say about like the space, like your space that you take up or inhabit, is mine at least is not organized by anybody else's standards, but by my own. Like I could be like, oh yeah, that paper's under the 3 envelopes to the left if you look on my desk. But if somebody else comes in and organizes, I feel so lost. Like if they organize anything, I'm like, where is it? They're like, oh, it's top drawer. Why would you put it there? It was like, it was over here. I don't.
Yeah, they're like, why
throws me off so
there? Yeah. Yeah.
That's absolutely like that's like people who have like, authority over my space. Like sometimes they'll throw away something that they think is trash, but it's not trash.
Yeah.
But my question is, do you guys think that it's because of like the visual and action at the same time? You know exactly where you placed something. I remember when I touched it last, and so I placed it there, and I can find it. But if it's moved, now I'm upset. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want people messing with my like.
Yeah, I definitely feel that way, especially with my job with being a barista. It's like, or even any like I've worked as a waitress and worked at a deli and worked at my mom's factory and all that stuff. It's just like I have a way to place everything, and I have such a body awareness. Like basically I'm like a machine when I'm on the bar. So like I know where this is, I know where this is, I know where this is, and if you like move one thing, everything is messed up. And I think I'm super sensitive to that because it's like it's not only knowing where the physical objects are, but it's like the actual movements of my body are like now messed up, where I'm like reaching for a thing that was there before and it's now not there anymore. And now it's like my whole process, dude, my whole process.
Yeah,
I think I'm getting used to
what
it.
the
Yeah.
hell? You're slowing me down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sensory functions, like in the official MBTI, what they say is that it works in a sequence. Ikraam's talking about like when, you know, she has a sequence of how she has things like ordered in the sensory, and like if you move one thing, then the sequence is messed up. So it's a very like sensory thing to be aware of, like the sequence of sensory that needs to happen to get something done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so weird about organizing my stuff as I unpack it. It has to be perfect. Not for anybody else, but for me, like just even getting ready, just things like
I think it helps you with a flow state.
Yeah,
don't you think?
It's very meditative too. I don't know. And arranging flowers for other reasons also very meditative. Getting into something, like getting lost in it, but just putting things where it's going to be helpful in the future, even if it doesn't make sense to somebody else. I'm like, oh, this will make my morning so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was a sensory type. That's interesting. That makes me not feel as crazy. Yeah.
No, I totally feel the exact same way. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Organized chaos. So yeah, Mary. Yes, totally. So Mary, you mentioned a point about personality hacker and how they say like that with perceivers, because they have FI or TI higher up, like they're internally decided. So when they need to react on the spot, they're able to. So they're organized internally, but the outside can be messy because what matters is like the DI or the TI keeps them organized. So at the moment's notice, it can just like do it. Like it knows like how to react. But with like judgers, like what personality hacker says about them is judgers organize the outside so that the internal can be free. So with judgers is that they have a long, like the OI, like NI or SI is like this long fleshed out thought, and to continue thinking in OI or SI terms to perceive like that, it requires not being distracted by the outside world. And so what the judger will do is try to organize the outside world to be free of anything, any distraction, anything getting them off track, because then they'll get lost. They cannot perceive anymore with their NI or SI, because NI and SI require focus. But without focus, judgers can't operate without that internal exploration. Like personality hacker calls it exploring the garden of their mind. So judgers need to have the outer world completely free of distractions to explore the garden of their mind, or else they can't. They have no freedom.
Since we're kind of in that zone, can I talk about like just the fact that I love personality hacker for their car model?
Oh,
like
great.
Just being able to put visualization to it, where I would like, as the driver, skip over my co-pilot and be like, you don't matter. Hold on, let me ask the 10-year-old. Like, I totally relate.
It's so because sensors, I think that's why I latched onto them the fastest. I was like, oh, this is Apple. I can a 10-year-old. Oh my god, my TE, like.
Oh, I do like the car model, and I love just like visualizing it too. It's like, oh my god, just the freaking inferior function, like crying its ass off in the back seat.
Like the NI's like kicking you in the back, like yeah, kicking you. Yeah.
I love the idea that like, who's gonna agree with me? My 10-year-old. So I'll look back and be like, hey buddy, what do you think? Oh yeah, no, we're going. I don't care what you think. Like, and I get to be in my car as I explain this, so it's even better. But no, I love the visualization of the way that they explore things, and there's just so much free information from them that's out there.
They're fantastic. I really think that is why I think sensors can, because even my mom, I've showed her the book that I bought their book and I was showing it to her. She's an ISFJ, and even though she's still really, it made me think what you said earlier, Joyce, about like sensors, once they find application, like practicality of like how they can like apply this to their lives. And I was the same way. I think my mom, like, I wish she would like latch onto it. She sometimes gets interested, but when she saw that, like the actual like car model in their book, and then, you know, read about her chapter, she never picked up the book again. It's okay. But I'd never seen her like engage that much with MBTI. And I think she was just like that. Oh, okay. And then the names that they give the different cognitive functions. I don't know. I can't say enough good things about them.
I'm glad I got your mom back into like, you know, more into MBTI because sometimes it just has like you said about the sensor just needing like the real world application. I'm glad that it helps it click, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's relatable.
Yeah,
Not so much theory based anymore.
Yeah, it brings it back full circle. Yeah, totally. I love Personality Hacker too. I like a lot of MBTI models, and I unify them. So I find the common thread of all of them, and I think they all have something to offer. I just loved the conversation today, guys. It was like it was a great chat. And John's SENI was right. I'll be inviting you guys on in the future too. So you can totally expect that if you guys want to be on again. But it was lovely talking to you all. You guys are absolutely charming. Like, you guys are so like packed with this type of charisma, and it comes from like your like high energy and you doing things fast. It just comes with this natural ability to charm people, or like I was captivated this whole time. And so like thank you for just being such cool people. You guys are very like SF cool, SF trendy. So like thank you for being so amazing.
Like, oh my god, it's just so much fun though. Like, talk with all of y'all. Like, I've never been around this like many of like people who love MBTI in general, and just this safe space is absolutely a dream come true. And being able to talk things out like this is absolutely just a dream come true, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna maintain the group chat that is already up. But I feel like we should probably all just go ahead and add each other on literally all platforms.
Yes! I'm gonna send you all friend requests when we're done here. I'm gonna get friend requests.
Yes,
So energetic. She's so like
all of them.
Yeah. And I feel like this is so helpful, like for the sensors in the audience too, because it brings the real life to theory, because we're actually seeing ESFPs talk about their experience as ESFPs. It's not like just detached theory, but like, so thank you for like making it more relatable for fellow sensors. And thank you for just, giving me a boost of energy today. I feel like I just drank 5 Red Bulls, but
Can I ask one last question? And I promise the last question is for you.
Yeah.
From this panel that we just did, what's different about this one than any of the other ones you've done? I would just be curious.
What was different about this panel than other panels was that you related it back to something. So you guys talked about, personality hacker, like, OP. And I feel like there's this other frame of reference that you use to, okay, so so it's like you're making it more practical by relating it to something you have already firmly grasped. So it's like with intuitives, they take larger leaps of faith. So they don't need to clarify things as much. They're like, okay, so what do you mean by that? Like, intuitives just have that leap of faith, but then you guys relate it back to something real. And that's like something different. And you guys also change topics more often. And you guys also talk really fast. And you guys are like, there's less pauses in this video. Like, you guys like seem like a fun crowd. It seems like a party in a panel, and it's
I love that.
Oh my god, I totally feel what you said about relating it back to something real. Because like one of the first posts I made on MBTI Reddit when I first learned MBTI was, is there any real life functions examples of the functions, please? Because like, and I just want I don't understand the function unless I can see it in real life, or else it's not as real, No.
takes comment about relating things to real things and relates comment to real things.
Relaception.
Good job.
And sharp wittiness. I noticed that like with perceivers, there's a stronger sharp wittiness within the panels too. So thank you guys for just bringing your infectiousness, your infectious energy to my life. I feel like it's
COVID.
It's
Hopefully not too infectious.
So we're 6, well, we gotta spread these little boxes out a little further the distance.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, put your face
yeah. Your energy is infectious like COVID. Probably,
I know my Christmas cards. Valentine's Day is perfect.
Oh man, guys. Yeah, so thank you for just being so funny and relatable and lovable and just all things good. Like, there's the Powerpuff Girls, right? And then you see them being made, it's like they're made with sugar and spice and everything nice,
else.
right?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you guys are sugar, spice, and everything nice in a
Well, I feel the
person.
same way about you, Joyce. You're so smart and so like sweet. And I love watching all of your YouTube videos and everything you make, actually. Yeah, you bring your own spin to every single thing, and then you just take it a little bit deeper.
And you're
I
so
wish I could meet people like you in real life. Like just people similar.
Yeah, I just can't believe you're only 23. You're so mature beyond your years. I'm like, God, I'm 10 years older than you. I don't think I'm even as mature. Thank you. I mean, your personality type is like, and then she was in general perfect for hosting like a panel.
Mm-hmm.
Introverted energy like helps but it keeps things moving along though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're
That's great.
great host.
Oh, I'm happy I could ground you guys. I'm happy you guys could uplift me. So I guess we have this great thing going on. And as feelers and as females, we might accidentally affirm each other until the sun sets and the moon comes up. Yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I will definitely host another one with you guys. How could I not? You guys are lovely. So I'll see you guys.
Bye.
You'll have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you for everything. I love you all. Y'all are amazing.
Love you.
Awesome.